Hello, everybody. Welcome to Seeking Answers. My name is Chris Rodriguez, former U.S. Army soldier and a proud Christian. Some say I like to say I'm a Catholic. I was born a Catholic, baptized a Catholic, and I'm not so much, practicing in the sense of I haven't done my communion, and all of that stuff. But I'm seeking answers, and that's what this channel is about. And in today's video, we're going to be reacting to Are People Born Gay? Once again, Father Mike Schmitz, he gets around and he spreads the word, the gospel, and we're going to react to him on this video on the Matt Frad channel, big YouTube channel. So he answers this in a good way, not in the typical "you shouldn't be gay," So I mean, I'm not gay; it doesn't really concern me. But as a Christian, I should know what the Catholic Church interprets this as and what it thinks of this. So let's not waste any time and let's get right to it and take a look at the video.
Like, what books do they like? What Netflix shows are they watching? What are they doing next summer? What are they afraid of? Like, you ought to be interested in them, not how you can fix this part of them.
Yeah.
And that, in the long run, will actually be more effective because they'll trust that you love them and want their good.
And I wonder if that's part of what he's trying to get at when he says things like, God made you this way. And that there's that, because that's so distorted and it's so destructive.
Just tell us why. Explain why.
Basically undercuts one of the foundational doctrines of Christianity, which is original sin. And the recognition that while we're made good, we also have this original wound. There is this tendency that not everything that I want is the right thing. Not everything, just because I experience a desire or attraction to something, doesn't mean that God wants that for me. And so, no, this is deep-seated. This is ingrained in me. I've never known not this. Therefore, God, in His perfect will, made me me this particular way. He's like, wait, so that basically means that sin means nothing. Sin is any sin,
right?
Because I'm
tempted to look at porn.
Name any, honestly, any sin
I'm tempted to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have an inclination to cheat on my
towards
wife.
Anger, I've always had a short temper.
I have an Irish temper.
Right, exactly.
That's who I am.
And that sense of saying that ultimately you move from, which is a positive move, acceptance, which is, okay, I acknowledge this about myself. I've always struggled with hiding. I'll go back to another topic. I always struggled with hiding, but that's acceptance. Okay, what do I do with that? Then I turn to the Lord, turn to the church, and say, what do I do with this? Turn to the wisdom of the people around me and the wisdom of the ancients to say, okay, when I experience this thing, what is a wise way forward? Versus, I accept this, and now accepting it means that I act on it. Mm-hmm. And that's completely different. And no one, when I say it's so destructive is, let's say, just God made me this way, A, because I blame God, B, because then now I have justification for anything I act on.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I acknowledge this in myself, and now I bring it to the Lord.
Yeah.
Again, not as a false self, but this is truly what's inside me. One is a way that tries to twist what I find as shame into now what I celebrate in myself. And the other is, okay, here's what I find as shame, and I'm going to invite the Lord into it to do something with it, whatever that is, to hold me in the midst of it, so that I recognize that I'm not identified with my shame. Because think about the move from shame to pride is I'm still identified with it. Like, that's still me.
Yeah.
What I saw as my greatest shame is now my greatest pride, as opposed to, this doesn't define me. This could be a part of my experience, it's part of my reality, but it doesn't give me my identity. And this is the big thing in the book I was trying to talk about. This is like the difference between experience and identity.
Okay. Yeah.
So what experience in our life would you ever advocate someone to say, you had this experience, therefore that is you? There's no experience that we'd ever, I'm angry, therefore I'm an angry person. Like, well, no, you wouldn't say do that. I'm a smoker, right? I smoke, therefore, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the more profound examples, I think at least, is someone who's been abused. So it's a big thing that affects one's whole life. I can see it affects how I look at myself, how I see other people, how I see God. But you wouldn't say, yeah, that's who you are. someone abused you, you are a victim. And now that's your deepest identity, because you've never known any relationship that wasn't tainted by this. You've never known any prayer that wasn't tainted by this. You've never known anything that wasn't affected by this. You would never encourage someone to use that experience as their identity.
The response, though, is
it's unbelievable, and he's so right, and that's why I watch Father Mike speak, because he makes sense. When you think when a gay person tells you I was born this way, man, I feel like, because they feel that way, and I'm like, they can't be lying. Same thing with a transgender. I feel like they can't be lying and to have to go to all these procedures and everything. So I don't know obviously I'm not in a position to tell somebody what to do with their lives, clearly. But me as a Christian, I'm trying to find out the answers to it. And I know that the Christian church doesn't allow or doesn't or condemns, for lack of a better word, same gender sex, or even trying to be another gender other than the one you were born with. So I struggle to find the meaning, the solution, or what it means when somebody tells you, I was born this way, and it feels like, well, I don't know what to say, but just other than believe you. But then some people will react to say and says, no, you're wrong, and I rebuke you, and you're evil. Instead of being acceptant to what they're saying, if Father Mike says they're right, they feel that way. And then if you recognize that this is a sin, then maybe we should move on to an area of to how to, for lack of a better word, fix this. And I know that sounds bad, to say fix me. What? I mean, I would. So understand what I'm saying, and you got to be almost careful when to say anything nowadays, right? But when you're open-minded, you're able to adapt and accept answers that are given to you. And I think Father Mike is great at doing that. So it's tough when somebody, but I think that they have to acknowledge that person. And I will be honest with you, I don't know. I'm assuming here. I'm assuming the vast majority of homosexual people or transgender people, I'd say the vast majority don't acknowledge it is a sin and say, well, let me try to work on it and change my lifestyle because I believe in God and I believe that He says that this is not okay. And I believe the vast majority don't look at it that way, and some even do believe in religion, and they go about life believing in religion, spreading the word, the gospel, believing in Jesus Christ. But they live with that as in being gay, being a transgender, saying this is how I was born. And I think that Father Mike here explains that very well. And this is not just about sexuality. This is about everything else that has to do with life. I wasn't, like I'm bald. I'm born bald. No, I can actually grow hair. I can actually grow hair a little bit. Or maybe that wasn't the best example, but just anything like what he said, an angry person. And sometimes I do fall in that category where I get angry, right? But I feel like sometimes I don't do enough to say, I need to stop getting angry. I need to look at it as a sin. I need to look at it as I'm going to fix it. I'm going to talk to God. I want to pray about it. I'm going to talk to my pastor. I'm going to say, what can I do to help me not be so stressed and angry that I might take that out on my wife or my kids. And I fall into that. I'll admit to you, I fall into that very much. And I would like it not to be that way. But if I just say, well, I'm the way I am and I can't fix that. People just have to deal with it. Well, it's the same thing of what he was speaking about homosexuality. If you think that's the way you are, then there's no fix because you don't think there's nothing wrong. And that is part of the issue. So, interesting take. Are people born gay? Father Mike tells us that it's not so much that you're born gay, is as much as you realizing that the Bible and the Scripture says that this shouldn't go this way. And if you realize that it is a sin and that you shouldn't do it, then you will realize that you can find a solution for it. And I know that these words seem crazy, in today's age where you say, fix me from being gay. How can that be possible? And people get out of control about it. But interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. These videos are doing fine for being a new channel, so please smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Join us in this journey of finding and seeking answers. And also, we're going to start doing a weekly podcast, live podcast, so you can join us as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you very much. God bless. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.